Taika Waititi, if this movie didn't break him, it was maybe the first step towards break, or like the beginning of the end.
Greetings, pals!
Greetings, pals.
Hey, welcome to the podcast Throw on the Pow. My name is Frank.
My name is Tom.
And this is the podcast Throw on the Pow. Love it or hate it, we debate it. It being movies. And today we're discussing what I describe as the high watermark of the MCU.
Sure.
Thor.
Oh, my bad. Yes. Sorry,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure which one you were talking about. I wasn't.
You misspoke.
Yes, I did. Sorry. I have
And
my
to
tongue's a
clarify-
little bit Thor from earlier when I bit it. So things will come out
you're
differently.
okay.
I appreciate that.
Hey, but it's not Thor. It's Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
to confirm, Thor 1 is like... I come from the end of a license, no. Yeah.
A song you like?
No.
No? But you
Not
think it
really, like-
fits in this context?
I think it's one of the, it's the high watermark of the movie.
That first scene when it's used?
No, the second one.
Okay, the
where
second
he comes
time.
back and,
I was
and,
going to
and
say.
thunders.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a high watermark is a good phrase and a good way to say this. Anyway, my name is Frank. Have we said that? And
We've
on
already
this
said
podcast,
that.
Shush, I'm trying to do the intro.
Okay.
On this podcast, we rate films out of 11.
Yeah.
And Thomas always has a wonderful reason, the logic, the thought, the process. He's here to describe that reasoning.
Have I already done this one where it's just like we try to say 11 in an accent? That's basically all I got. What does 11 sound like in a Kiwi accent? Because I know...
Tell me.
Well, I know sucks is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sucks. But then 7, I don't know. Does 11 change? Because the thing is...
11.
That's Irish. That's the thing. The Irish have that bit, or the Scottish, where it's like 11, and it just becomes gibberish. Like, it just becomes like the tongue attacking the
Speaking
mouth.
of gibberish,
This is gibberish.
that was terrible. That was
It's really... I
Worst one we've
truly
ever done.
got to the end of the movie, and I was like, I wonder what it sounds like when Taika Waititi says 11. And that was as far as I went, and I felt I went and had a snack. So
Okay, great. Well, shout your name if you like this film. Frank!
Tom,
Oh, come on.
you want me to shout and then say my rating, and you're like, oh, well, that's a letdown. Like, my tone, my timbre, my inflection, everything is sort of like geared around how I feel about the movie. Tom,
Okay, well, give me a number. Give me a number out of 11 then.
6.9?
6.9. Okay. I mean,
Wait a
yeah.
minute. Get rid of the decimal. What do you have there?
I'm going to catch you off right there.
Okay.
I'm going to go... Oh, geez. I just watched this again for the... it's 10... It's 10?
It's a 10.
It might be a 10.
Okay.
Maybe like a 9.5.
You're infamously... Is it infamously? I don't know. That may be taking it a bit far.
Famous for bad reasons.
Yes,
Is that
that's exactly what it is. No, it's the Three Amigos bit where it's like, if someone's famous, they're well known. So if they're infamous, they're exceedingly well known. So they don't know what that means. Martin Short, classic, not in this movie, sadly. Anyway, you famously gave Iron Man your only 11, I think.
Thus far, correct.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Just gobbling that Marvel hog all day and all night.
I was actually just listening to our best villains, or when did the villain have a point, and I referenced both Killmonger and Thanos. So, like, in terms of the podcast world, I am the Nuffy, I am the MCU Nuffy, and I'm proud to wear that badge. In fact, here's my branded, I'm wearing a t-shirt.
You're wearing
I don't have any merch. If I had some merch, I'd like...
Your bit was to shimmy left to right and then
For the
reveal
listener.
you are wearing a white shirt with nothing on it.
Yeah, but Chris Hemsworth has been seen wearing a white t-shirt, so I thought, great.
That's a good point, and he's still the only one. Only celebrity to this day. I check out whitetee.com every day. It's just still Hemi. No one
I
else
check
is on
out
there.
ratemypoo.com still every day. It's hilarious.
Hemi's
stuff.
still posting on there.
Old white tea shitter, we call him.
Are my thing
Let's
is...
get back on track.
Real
So
quick,
Thor,
I
like-
have to. But just because we're talking about shit and Chris Hemsworth. My bit was like naming my hemorrhoid something with like a hem, but it just felt like Hemsworth was the most obvious one out there, right?
Yeah,
but like
it is.
Ernest Hemingway was the better one because he wrote a book called For Whom the Bell Tolls, and I thought it could be For Whom the Smell Tolls instead.
No.
So I'm just saying, that's
I
just one
really
of my...
wish you weren't talking about this
My hemorrhoids.
whole subject on the podcast. All right, for those who haven't
Okay,
seen it,
I
Thor
cannot hear you
Ragnarok.
suddenly. I apologize. You've cut out for a sec. Oh, no, you're back.
Okay, well, shut up. Just let me talk. I'm trying to do the synopsis. Thor Ragnarok, 2017. PG-13 for those who care. It's the third installment of the Thor trilogy.
For those keeping Thor, it is the third entry.
It's before Infinity War, but it's after Ultron.
It's before Infinity Thor. So I'm just going to stop. I'm going to stop. That's it. I just wanted to
not
run
it.
it.
You know
I
that's
wanted
not
to
gonna
run it into the ground, so it was impossible to do any more.
Right,
Thor.
well, this is the Thor where Hela, his sister, comes back. Anthony Hopkins, his father, dies. Odin. And they get stranded on the planet Sakaar with Hulk, which is basically Planet Hulk from the comics, but flipped to be in Thor's perspective.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's quite famously Planet Hulk, where he goes to Sakaar, becomes a gladiator, and fights his way to freedom.
Cool.
Which he is also still doing in this one.
Yeah.
So they're both kind of having their Planet Hulk moment, which is fun.
I don't know pretty much anything from the comics. Like, I occasionally will talk to someone, whether it's DC or Marvel, who'll be like, that was a story from then. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I've never really engaged with them that much. But that's interesting that Hulk this is a story more about Hulk that they've adapted for Thor.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like, a lot of people's favorite Hulk is Planet Hulk.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, I better just double check it's called Planet Hulk. Otherwise I'll be getting some slams in the comments.
Sure.
Yes, it is called
Some
Planet
smash.
Hulk. I'm a genius.
Saying
Hulk,
you're getting some smash has a different context, I suppose, than just Hulk's going to come and... Well, I mean, maybe Hulk
there's the
will come
sentence
smash
right
you.
there. That's
Who knows?
it.
Yeah.
That's enough from that. So this is directed by Taika Waititi, and again, it's his high watermark of his filmmaking career, you could say, almost.
You could say that.
You could say that.
You'd be
He's a beloved
disastrously
filmmaker, but then-
wrong, but you could say that.
I don't know if it'd be disastrously
Oh, you haven't
wrong.
seen Next Goal Wins? I'm sorry. The greatest movie of the post-pandemic era that brought us all back, brought us heart, brought us chuckles, brought us warmth, brought us transphobia back into cinemas.
Oh, did it?
Terrible film. But
Yes,
we'll get into it.
I've not seen it. Will Arnett, Fassbender?
Will Arnett replacing Armie Hammer.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
With reshoot.
I mean,
yeah.
Allegedly, and etc.
Sure.
Allegedly replacing him.
Imagine Armie Hammer has the build and the kind of stocky stature and whatever to be Thor. He couldn't do the voice, but his last name's Hammer. Like, it's there, right? It's
and he leads an army. Great. So yeah, you just spoke off, Mike. You haven't seen Love and Thunder, which is the fourth Thor movie.
It's the fourth movie.
Which is Taika Waititi's low point. Worse than Any Goal Wins.
I cannot believe that it's worse than Next Goal Wins. Next Goal Wins is one of the most despicable films I've ever seen. Like, it is horrendous. But if Thor Love and Thunder is worse, I mean, it's got Christian Bale in it doing the Butcher, right? What's his name?
Gore.
Sure. Like, and I'm kind of like, that seems like an interesting choice.
Here's the thing. Yeah, Christian Bale he's fantastic in...
Sure,
the problem with Love and Thunder is Taika Waititi and the Screaming Goats and Chris Hemsworth.
Taika Waititi just writing I will huff my own farts for 2.5 hours for the screenplay and then just doing that, like, I imagine is the problem.
Honestly, it is. It's a bit too much like, let's just improv. It worked for Ragnarok.
And
but it's
gotta say, I get a bit of a whiff watching this movie. Not a terrible one, but just a little bit of a, like, we're doing some pants sniffing here.
I think if you look back from where we are now, you feel it. But I think when it came out,
I agree.
I feel like everything landed for me. There was not a joke that I was like, oh, a bit rich, mate, come on. But now, after seeing a few more of his recent films, you're like, I'm just a bit tired of it.
Sure. I think that we'll get into it. I will stop myself before we get to the Butler's Pantry talking more elaborately about Waititi, because there's an interesting conversation there, and kind of about the Marvel story in general and where he places in it. But yes, I suppose I knew you loved this movie. I know that most people love this movie. I certainly don't dislike this movie. I made the insane choice, just a little bit of how the sausage gets made for us here, for anyone who gives a shit. Frank texts the group chat. Reason Marcus isn't here is because he was like, I don't know, guys, don't know if I have time, bit abrupt. Fair, right?
I gave the chat about 40 minutes.
And
notice.
I actually, by the way, I shouldn't put this on you as if like, well, Frank, unless you message, nothing happens. Like, any one of us could make the decision, but it's been a weird time. You've been away from home for the last week. You know,
I ran away from home.
You ran away. They
Haven't
just
been able
found
to
you.
record. Yeah,
But
we're back.
Anyway, we're all back, and but you messaged yesterday, and you were like, hey, we should do a record tomorrow night. What about Thor Ragnarok? And I was like, I'm gonna have to fucking watch the first 2 Thor movies, aren't I? Because I've seen the first one, but in cinemas when I was 17, and I've never seen The Dark World. So I made the ill-advised choice of watching those 2 back-to-back yesterday in the afternoon and evening.
Wow.
While I watched one, worked for like 6 hours, watched the second one, went to sleep, had a weird sort of, no dreams, but just an ill foreboding feeling.
There's a dark world.
A dark world. Yes, the dark world of the dreamscape. And then I woke up this morning and watched Ragnarok. And I will say, big improvement. Like, really does kind of benefit. You would think too much Thor, right? I was a little thawed out. I had been frozen and they thawed me out and watched these movies. But like, I think it benefited from having that close proximity of like, immediately I like this more. A lot more. I do think 100%. It works. Tell me about your take. I know you mentioned it, but your take on the first 2 Thor movies, just quickly.
Look, I think I prefer the first one. I watched the first one. I didn't really love it. I remember just feeling it a bit like, all right, Shakespeare, and I didn't. And in Marcus's absence, let's just say we know he doesn't like Chris Hemsworth. Thinks he's a bit of a Chad bro, can't act, on steroids.
It's also because you go back and watch the 2011 Chris Hemsworth, and you're like, this is what Marcus was vying for. Like, if Marcus was going up for roles, this is what the role he was going for. Like, it's kind of scary how much there's an overlap there.
There's actually a few lines in Ragnarok that I go, that's kind of how Marcus would do this scene.
I agree.
They both have wonderful charisma on screen. I'm
Absolutely.
a big Hemsworth
Off-screen,
fan.
nightmares. But on-screen,
divas,
they
it's
pop.
an absolute mess. Yeah. No, here's the thing. Hemsworth, the only thing I don't like about him is he's on HGH and steroids and all this stuff, obviously. And
Please, let's just say, I know we have like -7 listeners, but can we say allegedly, just for the sake of...
Sorry. We know he's allegedly on all these things.
We allegedly know.
And we allegedly know that he's making lots of money from his fitness app, where he tells people, you can look like Thor if you do some push-ups in your lounge room. That's my only gripe with the guy. Everything else seems chill. He seems really fun.
I like Chris Hemsworth's energy. I wish I liked his performances more. But
yes, speaking of, Thor 1, he's fine. He's kind of a bit boring. He's carried by the supporting cast, you would say.
And the eyebrows.
The blonde
so
eyebrows.
Cursed. Just I was like, wrong energy, no. Hate this. No. Don't know.
This is the thing. No. When you first saw it, that was not on your radar. But as soon as they go to Avengers or any other Thor movie, it's like, okay, why? Like, I know they wanted to make him look like the Norse god from the comics, all this sort of stuff, but it just, in retrospect, does not look good.
He ages into the look very well. Like, they change it, but Hemsworth and Hiddleston,
Yep.
I was going to say Hiddleston, both are very embryonic in the first Thor movie, where I'm just like, you guys look so young and so dress up, and this movie is already couched in costume drama dress up, quasi-Shakespeare, big, lofty Norse mythology, and you guys don't seem like you really fit the roles. You feel like kids sort of doing a pantomime, right? Sorry, you were going to say directed.
Directed by Kenneth Branagh, but I'm currently reading the George Lucas biography.
Okay.
And a lot of the stuff they say about his set design and his costume design, all that stuff, it looks old and dirty and lived in. Like that's you look at A New Hope, Star Wars Episode 4, and like everything looks like...
Thank you, I couldn't remember which one that was. Thank you for clarifying.
IV.
Episode 4? Go on.
So everything looks old and decrepit, but lived in and real. Thor 1, everything is plastic and shiny and brand new, and this is the first time we're in the costume, basically, and you're like, this doesn't look real. Yes.
And I think we know the story already, so it's not like I'm going, I reckon this is the movie Anthony Hopkins did. Anthony Hopkins has said when he writes NAR, no acting required, and the Thor script was the one he allegedly did. But you watch him in it and you're like, he really is kind of sleepwalking through this, and yet still probably the most charismatic person on screen for the most part. Maybe with Stellan Skarsgård as the second, like the old heads are sort of carrying the gravitas.
I think
Natalie
Hiddleston,
God lover. Just
Jane Foster's not it. Kat Dennings, not great.
Kat Dennings doing the doggo millennial humor. Like, did I miss something in every line? I just couldn't, and I think she's...
I got no reception on my cell phone.
Oh, God. Does he need CPR? Because I totally know CPR. Just everything she said felt like, someone could have...
Also, entirely, wrong casting for her. She would have been, this is weird.
Yeah.
But of course, you'd say yes to a Marvel movie.
We
are
very
meant to be
interesting.
talking about Ragnarok.
We are really quickly. Dark World, one of the strangest and also most forgettable films I've seen recently. Like, I remember while I was watching it thinking, this is weirder. It's certainly more Star Trek, dark elf. It's literally the Dark Elves,
Dark
right?
Elves.
But like, it's taking.
It's much more based in sci-fi and in the space, and it's not a normal earthly story.
Yeah, but literally, it finished, and I got up and was like, "I'll go clean my teeth now and get to." And I came to bed, and I was like, "What was the name of the villain? How did that movie end? Like,
See, it's
what was
funny
it?
that-
It just washed over me."
That
like,
is the internet's criticism of that movie specifically. It's like, because it is it? Isn't it one of
Christopher
the Doctors?
Eccleston.
Yeah, Eccleston.
and the most interesting looking fucking guy in the world, and they're like, what if we make him look like a generic Star Trek villain? What if we make him look like an almost anonymous sort of creature of some B-movie renown?
And this is
right?
one thing that the MCU has usually done poorly as villains. Like, there are a few standouts that I'm, big fans of, but
Yes.
especially in the earlier years, the villains were just boring and literally just foils of the main
I mean,
heroes.
the first Thor, it's not the final boss or the final fight, but it kind of serves as it, is the fucking metal cunt that, like, is the Sentry or whatever from Asgard.
Yes,
and
language.
it got to it, and I was like, oh, that's right. I couldn't remember in my head. I was like, what's the final battle in this? I did see this 15 years ago.
and it's so quaint and lame, but like...
Yeah.
And again, we have all this knowledge about the universe and what's actually going to happen. So when it first happened, it was fine. I liked it. Thor: Dark World, again, found forgettable. But I was like, yeah, I'm still in that Marvel tidal wave, so it was still fine. Ragnarok was truly a reset, a high point, as I said, 18,000 times. It's funny that no other Marvel movie has ever been funny like this movie. It was refreshing. It gave the chance for like good actors to do good acting and to play and to have a silly time, yet still have, I think, really quite grounded high stakes. I don't know. It's good. It's really good.
I think you're right. A lot of that is right. I would argue that Guardians of the Galaxy is the sort of mirror of this, in that it has a very specific sensibility. It's very James Gunn. It's very like infused with the pop music and the kind of like camaraderie that develops around this movie. I think I really, really like the Guardians of the Galaxy. Dare I say, almost kind of like love them. The second one I find odd, but I love Mantis so much that once she joins the group, and Kurt Russell's incredible in that movie as well.
Well, that's Guardians too.
That's Guardians 2. Those movies are funny, right? I guess they're not going for the joke a minute or, kind of like consistent, almost like comedic adventure movie feeling that Taika's going for here. In fact, Taika said that he wanted to treat Thor in this like Kurt Russell's performance in Big Trouble in Little China. Like, that was kind of what he was drawing. This kind of bumbling, oafish guy who does ultimately... I mean, actually, the character in Big Trouble doesn't ever really save the day or do almost anything. He does, like, one thing. But, like, he was kind of treating him like a guy who stumbles into doing the right thing, stumbles into success, while everyone around him is a little bit more competent. And, that tracks for the way that Thor's...
That tracks, but then also, like, Thor is incredibly capable. Like, his powers are astronomical and obviously just explode in this film. And it's kind of... I find this whole journey of Thor, like losing Mjolnir, learning how to use lightning, and then getting Stormbreaker, and then cutting off Thanos' arm. I mean, stabbing him through the chest. Sorry, I was
Should have aimed for the head.
Should have aimed for the head. Who
Great
cuts
moment.
off the arm? That's a Vision.
Yes, Loki pretends to cut off. It's like the worst fake out in the world when he like pretends to cut off Thor's hand in Dark World, and they. Yeah, that whole sequence is to trick Malekith. I don't know. I was doing my
Malekith.
toenails
Do you remember
and
his name?
His name is Malekith. Malekith is the name of... It's also a character from Elden Ring. So, but anyway, I agree with you. What I was going to say before, is that Thor Ragnarok was the necessary infusion. Thor was not working. The Hulk, everyone kind of went like, that's a gimme. Edward Norton's gone, doesn't matter, right? And so, and Ruffalo's so successful once he's introduced that it's just like, these are sort of... Hulk is piggybacking on the Avengers movies, and those are his films as much as anyone's, because we're introducing 100%. Him in the first one, and because he gets such a big role.
I mean, his intro in the first
is great.
The first Avengers is so good with him and Scarlett
I
Johansson.
think their dynamics excellent, and we get a little bit of that here. But the Hulk kind of got grandfathered in. It worked, right? And then Captain America, people liked it. Iron Man obviously was hugely successful, even if the second one was a bit wonky. But Thor was the one where it's like, everyone finds Thor 1 a bit boring. And then the second one came out and they were like, this is disastrous. Like, this is actually the one... And, like, by disastrous, I mean audiences gave it an A-. But it was the only one that didn't get A's. Like, every other Avengers movie or every other MCU movie pretty much got A's, right?
And, like, the feeling was just going up, so you can't do Thor 1 and then go Thor 2.
Yes. So
They
Ragnarok
want to be climbing and growing together.
It felt like a reclamation. It felt like a moment for people to be like, hey, this one's good. You should bring your friend who doesn't give a shit about these movies because they'll like this. And you can bring your friend who likes What We Do in the Shadows, right? For an Australasian audience like us, there was that feeling of like, Taika Waititi's doing a fucking like Marvel movie. That's insane. Yeah. Right off the back of Hunt for the Wilder People, a really, really great movie. Like,
would you say that's his high watermark?
No. Do you want me to get into that now? We can if you want me to do it early. But
I want to talk about Joel Edgerton being in this.
Is he the scrounger?
He's like, more food.
I thought so. I truly didn't look it up, but I was like, that's Joel Edgerton, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't look it up. I trust my eyes.
Wait a minute. Do we know it's Joel Edgerton?
No, it's allegedly.
Okay.
Allegedly. No, let's look it up.
Allegedton, it's him?
Oh, that's good.
Thank you.
Great.
I appreciate that. I thought about that. See, that's not even, it's just the word. It's just the word thought, but spelt dumb.
Yes, it is. Oh, no?
Cohen
Holloway.
That's so funny, but I truly also went, that looks like Joel Edgerton. We're talking about the first scrounger that Thor meets when he ends up on planet Sakaar, right? The guy comes out and goes, are you fighter or food, or whatever he says.
Yeah.
I also thought that was Joel Edgerton. Very funny that it's not him, but we both thought it was.
It's not.
Yeah, it looked like him. It looked like him.
Poor Cohen Holloway just getting like, I reckon that's
absolutely bodied by people being like, his buddies telling him, do you know Joel Edgerton's in this movie? And he's like, it's me.
Cohen Holloway looks like... how do I say this nicely? The meth version of Joel Edgerton?
That was not the nice way to say it. Well, absolutely. Joel Metherton?
That's good.
Yes.
He's a meth actor.
Yes. What does he do? He smokes meth and we call action.
He just lets it go.
He just lets it fly through
it. Let's fly through it.
Okay, let's very briefly, I suppose, go through the... Like, this movie begins... As so many of the Marvel movies at this point do, it's believing people are watching this like the world's most expensive TV show, right? This was right at the most, if not the most, pretty close to the most fecund period for Marvel. Like, they were hitting it out of the park. They had Captain America...
Civil War.
No, I think it was the other one. But was it Civil War just before this? Oh, God, no, I don't think so. I think it was a Winter Soldier was just before this. But also there was Spider-Man. No, you might actually be right, because they introduced Spider-Man in Civil War, don't they?
Yes.
So it's Civil War, Spider-Man, the first one, which is like Homecoming, and Doctor Strange, right? You know, even movies that people are like, did that fully work? It's like, I don't know, it looked cool. Doctor Strange looks very cool.
Doctor Strange is great. I'm happy with that.
There's some good stuff going on there. So like, it's a time where everything is sort of hitting... And Thor Ragnarok is just another successful piece of it. But all of these movies tend to begin in just kind of like, we're in, you get it, you know who Thor is. Like, I don't need to begin explaining. Even though it does start with and things get worse as they go on, obviously. Things don't age that well. But 10 years later, starting with, yeah, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here is a little annoying, but that's fine. That's a thing.
Yeah, but it's Chris Hemsworth's voice. He's like, hello,
I know what you're
me again. Yeah. You know, and you're like, that's me, that's fine. I like you.
You know, whatever, he's talking to the skeleton. He's talking to the guy.
That's a good cut, because you think it's going to be like talking to the audience, and it's like, oh no, he's kind of, maybe he's going crazy and talking to a skeleton in this cage with him.
It's a very Taika joke that he's like, I'm bringing that kooky Antipodean sensibility, but I'm infusing it with a commercial sort of framework, and so people are going to laugh. They're going to get it. The next bit that I'm kind of like, all right, is when he's like, wait, sorry, I'm not even doing this, and
I watched a few of the behind the scenes today, and they cut to that. They talk about like, you know, there's so many jokes in this, and we just do a lot of improv, and we let Chris be Chris, and they show that scene about 8 times in every behind the scenes. Like, he's just so funny, and he's like, I'm not even doing this. It's just going around by
Just
myself.
you going.
I just don't think it's that funny.
No, I don't think so either.
It's like his worst bit.
You talking about behind the scenes, I have to do this, and if you haven't seen the bit, I will very quickly give a little bit of context. There is a Sean Levy movie that Taika Waititi is in. Taika Waititi. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like...
It's Free Guy.
Is it Free Guy? The
Yeah.
behind the fucking viral featurette. Taika is coming in and is riffing on an already incredible script, and they show a supercut or a montage of Taika's just like woeful improv, and I'm like, the world turned on this guy, didn't it?
It turned
and he
hard.
didn't help himself, right?
No.
He just leaned into the most obnoxious parts of being the kooky guy who says things in a funny accent to American audiences.
That's kind of all it is. Like Korg, I think works in this regard.
I
because
actually kind of do as well. I like Korg.
I like
makes
Korg
me
a lot.
laugh.
But that, like, you look at Taika in Free Guy, and then just in interviews, like, because he just got so famous
Well, I
after
don't know.
this.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like,
And you're just like, you're loose. But then I was watching a few of the behind the scenes of In Love and Thunder, and Natalie Portman is back, and she's talking about...
is she really?
She's back.
Oh, good. They bring back the least successful part of the two. The one
Hold
bit
on.
that the second it wasn't in Ragnarok, I was like, honestly, thank God. Love Natalie Portman. Terrible.
They don't have... Their chemistry doesn't work.
Not
the
there
story
at all.
doesn't work.
She
not at all.
looks incredible in the Dark World. There are a couple of shots of her where she's wearing the sort of the garb of Asgard, and her hair is just so voluminous, and oh my God, I was
wow.
like, this is the best part of the
Is
movie.
that a wig or is that natural? She looks terrible in Love and Thunder.
Ugh.
There's a whole bit around her health, and then I'm not going to spoil it for you,
I will watch
but
it.
the effects about. But she's talking on the behind the scenes about how, like, Chris and Taika are just riffing, and it's just like I'm like, I have to remind myself that I have to act in this scene. It's
But
what
they're
she says.
both
And it's
so
like, they're both so
random.
funny, and then it shows a clip of just
Taika just shitting, just him having diarrhea, and everyone going, "Oh my God, he's so funny." Sorry,
what a
Taika.
fall from grace. It's so sorry.
It's-
I love most of his filmography. I love almost everything this guy has done. Right?
We have to keep on the film because I think the Butler's Pantry is literally going to take up like 15 minutes because it's such an interesting thing to talk about Taika.
Okay,
But with the movie, Thor has to kill a dude with a fucking crown, takes the crown because he wants to prevent Ragnarok, and he gets it back
fire
to Asgard. And then we see Loki in the guise of Odin watching a play that's put on for him with Matt Damon, Luke Hemsworth,
the
and
brother.
Sam Neill. Great, excellent, love it. Every time
Amazing.
I have actually watched that clip on YouTube like 20 times. Like I
And
always
Hopkins
find
just
it
being
funny.
like, he's doing the lines himself, and
Yes.
he's like, it's very good.
That's good.
Like he's just mincing.
The first
around.
time I imagine he had the NAR written on the script and he just put a light cross through the N and he went L.
Yes.
A little acting required.
Some acting required,
Just even,
absolutely.
I think him thinking like, well, I've got to be Loki, so I can't just be Odin. I have to be Loki as Odin. What's
Yeah.
that like? And his just, oh shit, when he sees Chris Hemsworth makes me laugh a lot. I think
God,
it's quite funny.
It's funny that he's the funniest part of this movie, and he's only there for 10 minutes. But
He
then
is-
also has the most lovely scene for 5 minutes after.
Dressed just so strangely,
Just like my mother, like linen and beads,
just dressed
sandals.
like the costume was bingo night, and he's dressed that like it is what. But still, I'm like, I mean, it's Anthony Hopkins. I like looking at him and having him do things.
His voice and his timbre, just his line readings are always just awesome.
Do you find that scene, because, obviously we find out Loki's, been pretending to be Odin, he's still alive, he's the king of Asgard. Loki's a very difficult character that I'm sure we'll get into. I find him mostly, not annoying, but mostly a little befuddling, more than anything. But we'll get to that. And I think the movies often sweep under the rug. Well, he's a trickster, see, so anything he does is consistent with that. And I'm like, yeah, but at a certain point, and the movie points it out, I just know he's going to betray people. And so when he does it, that's not that funny or interesting anymore. But
at this point, he's only been in Thor. He's in the Dark World.
Avengers. He's the main villain, though. He's the first
only,
big villain.
But coming back, I've seen Loki season 1, season 2, all the Avenger films, plus everything he's done up to that point. And you're like, because I felt like, God, I'm a bit sick of Loki. But you have to remember, back then he was for him to do something funny and like light and charming with Thor was totally out of character.
Which he was already kind of doing a little in, like, he always brought a little bit more fun energy, like the Dark World, he has a little bit of that. Obviously in Avengers, he has that line that I actually think about a lot because I think it's quite funny, where Hemsworth's like, you listen, brother, and you listen well, and he gets swept aside, and Loki goes, I'm listening. Like, I think that's great.
I don't think Hiddleston has the best comedy. I don't think he's that funny. I don't think his timing is good.
I have come around on Hiddleston from someone I used to look at and just kind of be like, everyone's really into this ferret wearing a wig, and I guess I'll play along that we're into this guy, but I don't get it. And having rewatched these and watched The Dark World for the first time in the last 24 hours, I'm like, I like Hiddleston. He's good. He's doing what he's asked to do. He sometimes really swings for the fences, especially in Thor. There's a line he has where he's like, tell me! And I'm like, not there, dude. Not there.
I didn't hear that. At all.
Anthony Hopkins is not impressed, right? That's not getting you in Silence of the Lambs Part 4, right? But anyway, Hiddleston...
I feel like he felt he had to, because in the first film, Hemsworth is bone dry.
Really, pretty much bad, I think. I think Hemsworth is pretty bad in the first Thor. And then in the second one, he's better, but he's in a more choppy movie. Like, it's at least an easier arc in the first one. And the second one, I'm just like, I don't really know what this movie's about. Like, it's about the most poorly PS2 graphics digitally rendered red mist that's going to take over the fucking universe. Like, and we can't destroy it because it's too powerful. And then they're like, but we can. It's fine. Like,
of course we can.
Anyway, Loki and Thor go to Earth in one of my favorite sequences in the movie. I'm very surprised whenever these work, because I think a lot of the time the cameos, the Captain America cameo in Thor Dark World, I thought was very shoehorned. But the cameo of Doctor Strange, I was like, I like this. I am surprised at how good Thor and Benedict's energy is. I actually think they work, and it works so well because they're restrained with it. They give us 8 minutes, and that's it. And I was like, no, I liked that. I liked that scene a lot.
And they again allow like Strange to be serious yet kind of messing with them, and Thor to play and allowing. And this is what they've said 1,000 times: like, let Chris come out, let Thor be more like Chris Hemsworth, because we love Chris Hemsworth. The audience doesn't love Thor. Let's put them together. Yeah, like just him sort of being like clumsy and knocking over the artifacts, and
every smash cut just to him somewhere else and not knowing what he's doing. Strange just being so assured, being very, as people have pointed out, like whenever Tony Stark isn't around, Doctor Strange is basically Tony Stark. But like I think it works in that scene. Like he's doing the arrogant.
Well, that's why they are very similar characters,
and they clash in a way that I find very entertaining in Infinity War.
Reminds me of two people I know.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. We'll get into it later.
He's not here, so it's fine. The scene after that is them going to see Anthony Hopkins, and he explains to them. I love what Loki's wearing, by the way. I know how Hemsworth has that line, like, "Then why are you dressed like a witch?" But I'm like, I think it looks good. He has
sharp
that shit
black
on.
suit.
Yeah, I like it. Great. I like it a lot.
Nicely tailored. Exactly. Here's the thing: Hiddleston auditioned for Thor. He's 6'3" or whatever.
No, he didn't. Did he really?
Have you not seen the footage?
Look, does he have a blonde wig?
Yep. And he's doing, like, he's got Mjolnir and he's, like, like, he got really close. And they went, you're just too sly. You can be Loki.
Yes. I think that was a good shout. I think he brings a good energy to that. They go to see Odin. Odin, very weirdly, basically doesn't have a line with Loki. Like, I watched that scene and was shocked to find that Loki doesn't say a word.
It's like a duologue.
Very odd. Yeah. And then Cate Blanchett shows up. And we're all like, holy shit, it's Cate Blanchett. That is... Really, you have to put yourself back in 2017 and go, oh, fuck. I mean, I know they have Anthony Hopkins, but even so, Cate Blanchett is a very
huge pull for
serious prestige actor to be like, well, I'll do this weird punk rock sort of villain that you got going.
Again, speaking of mincing, like she's like, I wish she did more. She's trying to be like chewing and dark and twisted and kind of like a dark caramel, in terms of characterization.
Oh, yeah.
But there's just not quite enough for her to do, I was watching this with Luce, and she was like, there's no blood in Marvel movies. And I was like, yeah. Like when she kills 200 Asgardian... Yeah, thank God for Deadpool, right?
The blood from my eyes. Anyway.
So she kills 200 Asgardian soldiers, and they're all dead in seconds, and they like get impaled, and there's no blood, and you're like, wow, she's she's hardcore, but I feel nothing.
Also in the way where I'm just kind of like, so what does she need an army for? Doesn't seem like she like
God,
I know
yeah.
that's a silly. I know that we talk about this a lot, that like when movies are working for you, you go, shut up, I don't care. And when they're not, you kind of start scrutinizing things. But this movie was working fine for me. But that's definitely a scene where I'm just like, doesn't seem like you really, like, why do you want this army? Why do you need any of this shit?
Isn't she so incredibly
you
powerful?
can
more
kill
powerful than Odin?
everyone.
You smash Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Like,
Which
I know that sounds like such a nerdy thing to be like, but
But then
that
immediately I go, then what can kill this woman? Like, if she can smash that hammer, what are the rules as far as that? And I know that's dumb, but it's the same with the Hulk, where I'm like, I don't feel like there's a consistency as to how tough the Hulk is. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
The only thing that like makes me brain fried about MCU and Marvel and the comics and everything is like, what's the power scale?
Yes, our power rankings are fucked. And like, for us who have our tiers that we like to keep consistent, yes, no, I agree. There is a degree to which, it's why I quite like Ultron. I actually like it a lot more than the reputation it has and that a lot of people talk about, because that scene with Iron Man trying to beat the Hulk down is such a great example of demonstrating this thing is unfucking stoppable. Like, the Hulk is insanely powerful. You pretty much can't do anything against him. And then when Thor's fighting him and he's like, lightning! And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that feels all right. So lightning can kill the Hulk? Or can like...
But is it lightning or is it special lightning?
I suppose it's special Thor lightning. I didn't think
special
of that.
god. Like, he's a god and like he's powerful.
Lord of Thunder.
Also, everyone has a critique on Thor Ragnarok's little neck buzzer that knocks him out, and they're like, "Well, why would the god of thunder be put out by electricity?" It's like, it's obviously not electricity, guys. It just looks a bit like it buzzes him, but it's probably just like a nerve situation. So just get the fuck over it.
Yeah, I guess I didn't have as much of an issue with that as I did Tessa Thompson's accent. Like, that was...
Which accent did you like?
Did I like?
Yeah.
No, I didn't like it.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't like Tessa Thompson's accent. I had an issue with it. I think Tessa Thompson's got a great energy. She's obviously a very, very good-looking woman, and she has... I don't know why I said it like that. I feel like Hemsworth in that scene where he's like, I think it's good that they're all women, and then he gives the double thumbs up. I think Tessa Thompson is incredible screen presence. Mm-hmm. I've never been all that convinced of her acting chops. I think a lot of the time she seems to be doing the smoldery, like... Can you believe how cool I am? And I'm like, oh, no, I can't actually. Like, it doesn't quite get there. And then her going, every time she had more than one line successively, and she's like, well, you know what the story is there, because what I did when I was a Valkyrie, and I'm just like, I don't know what really is happening with the accent here. It's all over the place.
And then she's like, don't talk about me being a Valkyrie. I'm upset.
Yeah.
Can't you see?
And she drinks a lot, and I find her a little boring, even though I kind of like her and Bruce's dynamic. I think that's kind of cute, and her and...
Yeah, what's up, big guy?
What's up, big guy? And then when he's like, I feel like I know you, she's like, I feel like I know you too. Like, I think
so this is, I mean, the movie, when it happens on Sakaar, this whole, the second act of the film is like, through the roof good. Jeff Goldblum is awesome.
Jeff Goldblum's great.
Rachel
House as his sort of sidekick.
You know, I always say Scrapple 412 is, it starts with a B. What is it?
Trash. No.
Were
you waiting to say that?
We just waiting to say that?
No.
It's so funny. She's so dry. When she hands him the killing stick, like later in the film, and he's like, what?
No, that's not... He interrupted me. It's not a capital offense. I'm Jeff Goldblum, and I think
Asgard.
I will be pushing this stick. I pardon you from life. This is basically his audition for the Wizard, right? Like, they see 100%. This and go, "That's the Wizard. He has to be in the movie." They basically, I mean, they do the Willy Wonka thing where I'm like, would Jeff Goldblum be Willy Wonka if they made it again? Possibly. Feels like that's kind of his...
I mean, he's too old now, but yes.
He lives in a chocolate factory. Like, it just feels like they just have to go and film at his house for...
So you reference the... You know they do that. They play the... Pure
That's what I'm saying. Yes, they do.
As Thor's going through that chair ride.
Yes, and they're doing what feels very much like the cursed flume ride that Gene Wilder does in the original Willy Wonka, right?
100%. And then Thor is screaming, and then it turns out... You're back to reality, and he's still screaming. Funny, good stuff.
I want to talk about what you said about things on Sakaar and everything. Everything pretty much. I know I was a little like with the opening, but ultimately I think the battle at the start is really good. The is all a lot of fun.
So good.
I cannot convey how much I love Carl Urban in this movie.
I was going to
ask. Kind of radical how much I'm like,
scared.
This is working for me so much. Behold my stuff.
Again, like
I lost
nailing
it
the
in
New Zealand, the New Zealand comedy, like just falls flat. Every joke is like boof, just dumps on the table. I don't like it.
Oh, you don't
I don't like him in this movie.
Oh, you don't like
Carl
Carl Urban? Oh, I didn't realize that's what's happening. Oh, okay.
I see what you're saying.
It's so interesting that we have such different receptions.
Him saying, "Behold my stuff,"
but then also I got it down in Midgard, a place called Texas. I was like, that's a funny way to say Texas. And then when the girls are like, "Scourge, what's happening?" and it cuts back to him and he's doing a shake weight.
See, I just find it a little bit. It's just too much.
I don't think I laughed more in the whole movie. That made me laugh so much.
See, I liked his redemption where he brings out Des and Troy at the end, and he's like,
the
great,
most
amazing.
invested I was in any action sequence in the whole film. I swear to God, the second he starts shooting the fucking undead army or whatever hell it has, and jumps off the ship and starts shooting them, I was electrified by that. I couldn't believe how much I'm like, Scourge is my guy in this movie. Even though,
that's so interesting.
If you look at the arc of his character, he's like, I guess I have to kill this innocent person. All right, I'm gonna do it. And then he just doesn't at the last second. But it's like, he was gonna chop that person's head off. And
I do like when he's like, I've got to go let the town know you're here, and Thor just flies. And he starts running in his armor. I mean, maybe he's fine.
We
maybe
get that
okay.
other joke after that's so, again, millennial coded and so belongs in the 2010s and needs to stay there, when Loki turns to him and goes, you had one job. I'm like, one job. Anyway, I think Scourge is great. I think that this movie pretty much works for me all the way up to the end of Hulk and Thor battling. I like that battle. And then it gets a little whatever. I don't love... There's a reason that we don't let the Hulk be a character that much. He's pretty boring. He's pretty annoying, right? Like him just kind of being like, duh, and then throwing shit.
Disagree. Not into it. I love it so much. Love it so much.
For Bruce to come back because I love Ruffalo so much.
Baby arms is
kind of funny.
I win. Thor. Like that. I just found that so, because he's, again, contextually, what have we had from the Hulk? Like nothing. He's so boring. He's terrifying. He's a rage monster. He can't be controlled. Blah 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 blah. At least he gets to do something. And like, imagine Ruffalo on set in the mocap suit being like,
the problem was I couldn't. I know what you're saying, but it's such an outsized character, and even though for the time I think we were all very impressed with how much it looked like Ruffalo, and they perfected it in Endgame. One of a movie I don't love, and one of my favorite parts of that is it's him in Hulk form. He's like, yeah, I just worked it out, and now I'm like this. I was like, good choice, excellent, love that. That's exactly.
You like Smart Hulk?
I love Smart Hulk. The two tacos that he gives to Ant-Man. I just love Smart Hulk. So I love just seeing him be just basically deciding to live in like radical acceptance of who he is and be like, I have a debilitating mental and physical illness, and I found an equilibrium, bro. Like that is actually quietly kind of lovely, but also
it's the coolest thing that Bruce Banner is like the unsung hero of the Avengers. Like, he's so bloody smart.
He's so brilliant. He's so good brilliant. In, like you say, the first scene where they introduce him with Scarlet.
When he smashes in the Avengers 1 and he just like goes, I know,
it's great.
Smash. And then he's like, I'm always angry. And then just smashes that bloody space worm.
Yes.
Like, he's got these... but here's the thing about Smart Hulk.
Yeah.
God, we are everywhere. This is just an MCU review.
Yeah.
You don't get enough... Like, the rage is what makes Hulk awesome. When he just flips out and just destroys anything in his path. You don't get that with Smart Hulk. You get a bit like, he's strong, but like it's not the same.
I guess, but I think the most interesting use of Hulk is first time we see him in Avengers, because you're just like, wow, look at him go. He's just jumping from skyscraper. And obviously when Loki gets just beat to shit, just back and forth, ragdolled, yes. And I love his fight with Tony so much in Ultron. I really think that is one of the best fights where I'm like, this is a character fight. This matters because it's these two. I do think that's true with Thor and Hulk as well, and obviously obviously he's a friend from work, which I know you know the backstory of that line, right?
It's a Make-A-Wish kid who came to set.
Just a great
Wonderful
suggestion. Like you would have just been like, kid, do you want a writing credit? Like that's a great line. Like
because we're all just riffing and we get credit.
Yeah, look at Taika riffing over there. He's just like
Chris Hemsworth's getting $40 million for this.
Yeah, Taika's just pissing into his own mouth. Everyone's like, he's a genius. Anyway, I think,
but he's got amazing fashion. We digress.
We digress. I think that the Hulk just being like, you know, the dumb brawn that the most obvious thing is like, yeah, he's stupid, and so he doesn't really understand things that well, and he's got a big old green hog, right? And that's kind of the joke that I think the movie keeps going with that a little too long. I wasn't like, this is a bad movie now. I was just like, oh, I was much more engaged with the first hour of this. And now this whole section is whatever. I'm not so enthralled by it.
I think, yes, but it also allows maybe Thor to be smarter for a second and actually be like, I'm going to think of a plan. I'm going to go get the Quinjet and I'm going to get all this stuff happening. Like, because it's Thor's movie. He has to lead it, right? But if you have Bruce Banner there the whole time, then he's going to be like, well, Bruce, what should we do? I have 7 PhDs, help me.
I take your point that Thor is not always the Thor, although ultimately...
He doesn't really... He's
not someone
provoking.
There you go. Yes. We're being very Thor-provoking today, aren't we? We're provoking...
Bing, bing, bing.
Do something. Sorry. I don't think that Thor's ever an idiot, right? Obviously, he's not Tony Stark and he's not fucking Bruce Banner, right? But yeah. I think the extent of his smartness in this is, I need a ship to get off this place. Point me to where a ship is. And then he goes to the ship. And and also like sleight of hand getting the Valkyrie. What is Tessa Thompson's character's name in this? Can't remember.
Valkyrie.
She's a Valkyrie, sure. But getting her like little device that she has that sets off the obedience disc on.
She's called Valkyrie.
That's it?
That's her character name. Yeah.
Really? Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Didn't really care for her backstory either. The least successful parts of the Thor movies are having to watch them, I suppose, but also definitely... I was about to say the least successful part is this, but then once they get to Earth in the Thor movies, I'm like, I don't really like that much either. But the Asgard stuff mostly just washes over me. I'm just like, I don't really care. I think this all looks pretty silly and generic, and... why do all the spaceships in Thor: The Dark World sound like pod races from Phantom Menace? That was distracting. Truly, they have that. But the best thing that Ragnarok does is dispel with that pretty quickly. They come back to Asgard and they're doing what Taika, I think quite smartly, is like, this is all silly. Let's show a pantomime of it. Let's show a play of what happened to Thor and Loki, and we can lean into the silliness, and then we're out of Asgard and we don't have to go back there, except for when Hela's just kind of being like, I'm going to rule here. Not that interesting, but whatever. And then once Valkyrie's backstory comes into it, it's a lot of conversations about like, you don't understand. Asgard's in danger, and we have to. And I'm just like, I don't care about Asgard.
Like,
I don't.
I know you don't, but I don't think there's that much of it. I never feel like it's heavy-handed or like overbearing.
I think that becomes a huge thrusting point of the movie. Once basically he has that scene where she comes to the cell, she has the drink, and Thor's explaining to her what they have to do. So much of the dialogue from that point until they get back to Asgard is, well, how do we save Asgard? And it's Thor going, Helmdir, give me Helmdir? Heimdall, Jesus. But also Idris Elba. But
Idris Elba, I don't know, like here's the thing, there's a couple actors in this that you just go, they're going to be good.
Should have been better. I always kind of look at Idris and I'm like, I just don't know if you ever.
I think we've spoken about this off mic. Like his career is so disappointing.
I could not agree more. Idris Elba so rarely, for a guy who gave a Stringer fucking bell in The Wire, one of the greatest television performances of all time. There are not a lot of film performances of his, I think. I think of American Gangster, where he has that immortal moment where he says to Denzel Washington, what are you going to do, Frank? You going to shoot me? And then he shoots him. Like, that's a great moment in American Gangster, but...
He's incredible in Molly's Game.
I've never seen Molly's Game.
Also Molly's Game. He's funny in The Office. He's
okay.
I like him in Rock and Roller, but I just like Rock and Roller. It's Guy Ritchie's best film.
Yeah, sure, right, sure, whatever. Well, let's get back to Ragnarok and you Roller. Anyway,
okay, very good.
I think he's good in Prometheus. I like him in Prometheus. But
yuck.
He even recently was in House of Dynamite last year, playing the President of the United States in what I will very generously say was not a particularly convincing performance. I just kept wondering, why is a sitcom dad who sounds English, let's be clear, barely is doing the American accent, the president of the United States? Very odd, very odd.
Very odd. Should we quickly just jump into the pantry?
Really quick before we get into the pantry. I guess
Okay, go on.
I just wanted to say that, like, even though I really liked that moment that I got surprisingly into emotionally with Thor approaching Hulk after he'd hit him in the arena and going, "Hey, big guy, sun's going down." I was like, there's just something about that. That's why I still think Ultron rules. I think that's such a wonderful exchange and a wonderful little piece of dialogue and a way of building the relationship between Scarlett Johansson and Mark Ruffalo in those movies. And when I hear it, I hate that the movie uses it to death.
I was about to ask, do you think it's funny when he's like, all right, sun's going down.
Pretty much the first time he says it in the ship, I'm like, oh, he's trying to do it again. And then he does just say it for like 10 minutes. And I'm like, no, it's not funny anymore. But I do like that Ruffalo's back. I like that he starts having a panic attack. And then they get back to, ultimately through like all these convoluted manners or methods, they get back to Asgard. And I was reminded of like, oh yeah, I've seen this movie 3 times. And I can never quite remember, like, so what happens at the end, right? And it's because I just don't think it matters, right? Like, to me, personally, by the time they get to, don't you see, we were meant to bring about Ragnarok. And I was like, this movie is called Ragnarok, and I'd forgotten about Ragnarok. And then in the last 10 minutes, they're like, Ragnarok. And I'm like,
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. I would just argue that it's not about the big end fight, is it? Like, it's about, let's say, in the scope of the MCU, it's about Thor discovering that he's actually crazy powerful, and it's about bringing Loki on board in a good way, and also bringing Hulk back to life. Like, there's also the Kevin Feige of it all to be like, well, I need this to come out of this movie. Don't forget, this is what has to happen.
You have to move these pieces. They have to end up here.
And I think they do it in a really great way.
I
cool,
think
I'm on board.
The most successful thing I would agree with you about is that the start of Infinity War, again, in my opinion, pretty great movie, is it has to rely on Thor and Loki having finally kind of come to terms with each other. And so
you're reminded of that, the opening scene to Infinity War when the Asgardians are on the ship, and then the opening of Infinity War is, they're all dead.
Yeah.
Because it's such a high point. Like, hey, we saved our people. It's sort of like wholesome and cute. Like, Asgard's not a place. It's a people, which is naff, but also like kind of sweet.
Sure.
And then gone. You never see him again. That's it.
It is crazy. I hadn't really considered, truly, even though I know that's the start of Infinity War, I was just thinking of Loki's death, which is quite effective, I think, and Heimdall. But I really hadn't considered that this whole movie is pointless. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it really is interesting that it builds to this completely empty victory. Like, that's it.
Which is just to show, again, like, Thanos is, like, in terms of power scale.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Louise.
But again, one of those things where you're like, so how powerful is the Hulk? I don't really get it, but doesn't matter so much.
But the Hulk's also on his own scale of rage. So when the angrier he is, the more powerful he gets, which is like why Smart Hulk is a problem.
Because he's too smart.
He's too smart, therefore not strong.
Interesting.
Because you can't be strong and angry.
I think the problem with all of the Thor movies...
My father told me that. Oh, Jesus.
Right before he died doing maths. Of a fury-inflamed heart attack. I don't know. I don't know what the bit is there.
No one knows.
There's a bit there somewhere.
Do you want to get into the pantry
I do.
Okay.
The problem with all the Thor movies that I think this one also has is that they get to the end and they go, don't you see? This is what the movie was about. And I'm like, I don't believe you. No, it wasn't. Right? Like, the first one is Thor doesn't
believe he's worthy or king.
Wants to kill all the frost giants. And then he comes back at the end of the first one and he's just kind of like, I met a girl, I don't want to do that anymore. And Loki's like, are you kidding me? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
But doesn't Loki discover that he's the frost giant in the first one?
Yes, but he wants to kill them all anyway so he can still claim the throne and be the righteous one. I don't know. That movie's a mess. The second one, as much so as well, where it's kind of like, don't you see all the worlds are combined or all the worlds are connected in a way that we don't know? And I'm
this is the strange thing about the MCU, like you said, being a giant TV show. It's like it all matters in the way that none of it matters. Like,
perfectly
it's leading towards something, so you just got to kill some time.
It is why a movie I don't think I've mentioned this pod, Infinity War, is a great film because it ends with, holy shit, did none of that matter?
Yeah.
What do we do? And I'm like, end it now. Someone assassinate Kevin Feige. That's the end of the MCU. What a perfect ending. And then, unfortunately,
I wish you hadn't said that.
we're now like 20 movies past that point. But yeah, this movie ends with, don't you see, Asgard is a people, not a place. And I'm like, what? Is that what this movie's been about? Like Jeff Goldblum being silly with blue lips and like everyone fighting each other in Sakaar. That's not what this movie's about. But it's like, no, it was actually. I'm like, okay. Whatever. Hela was pretty wasted. She had some fun lines, I suppose. Don't.
Yeah,
really.
that's the thing. Kate Blanchett could have done so much more. Could have been more. We should get into the pantry.
Butler's pantry.
We're running out of time.
We're running out of time.
The butler in a pantry with a mic.
Thor?
The butler's pantry.
Good.
Taika Waititi, if this movie didn't break him, it was maybe the first step towards break, or like the beginning of the end. Yes. Because he has Eagle vs. Shark, a movie I've never seen, 2007, right? But then he has Boy, he has What We Do in the Shadows, he has Hunt for the Wilder People, he has this. Have I missed any? There might be one that I've missed in there in the early days, but like he's like so many of those are movies that are in his very specific weird comedic niche, right?
Yeah. Also, small budget, it would have been easy to improv around and just like have the camera rolling and all that sort of stuff.
Incredibly impressive that What We Do in the Shadows is a very low budget movie and a great looking movie, right? Like I'm just astounded by that film still to this day.
We did just talk about Ragnarok. Looks beautiful. I love the aesthetic of
I
Ragnarok.
love Sakaar. I think Sakaar looks great. I was so happy to see, and this actually the soundtrack.
Not even the soundtrack, but even the first scene where he's like flying and the big dragon's chasing him, and it kind of looks like
the head
claymation-y almost, and the head coming through.
The head coming through and the goo and everything looks great. I just love how it slowly slides towards
even
the
the opening shot where you got all the stalactites holding down and it's just like silhouette Thor in the cage. Like it's very comic book, but in like a really stylized cinematic way.
I still think Asgard is just trapped into looking like a French horn that someone zoomed up on.
Looks like a bad Minas Tirith.
Exactly. And then Bruce Banner saying what everyone's thinking, like, I thought it would look better than this. And then he follows that up with, because it's on fire. And I'm like, no, you're not wrong. Asgard looks like shit. It's not a fun place, unfortunately. It's very...
I blame Kenneth.
Yeah, I think I blame Kenneth as well.
Okay. So what we do in the Shadows, Eagle versus Shark Boy.
He was establishing for himself what was a very small and very like passionate but quite narrow ethos, I suppose, and like an auteur or a claim to auteurship as the sort of guy who is like, I'm going to be in the movies. I'm not going to be the main character. I'm going to like bring my own weird breed of humor, but also humanity to it. I think Boy is an just like really emotionally beautiful film while also being incredibly funny and light on its feet.
So funny. And that it's very New Zealand in the way that they do the tragedy and comedy together. Like they do it so well.
It has the most effective shot in any of his films, in my opinion, where there's a very brief flashback and a silent flashback to Taika's character crying framed in a doorway after something's happened. And I just was bowled over watching that for the first time. I couldn't I'd watched pretty much all his other movies, and going back to watch that, I was like, fuck, man, what a filmmaker, what a talented guy. I miss him. I miss him because I don't think he's with us anymore, unfortunately. Well, I think...
But, sorry, Ragnarok, and then Jojo Rabbit comes out,
which he wins an Oscar for. So that's the problem. He's like, I made an $800 million grossing, $855 million, I think, grossing Thor movie that everyone loved and was like, this is funny and good. And
it's the high watermark of the MCU, the most beloved film collective.
I still would argue with that it's not. It's not like waving to my aquatic friend called Mark. I wouldn't say it's high watermark, right? But like, I still think that there is...
I thought you were referencing like Mark Hamill and stuff. I was like,
just when I see him, I say high watermark, as opposed to high landmark, airmark.
Yeah, because Highlander is also a great series.
Great, excellent. Yeah, I think
wonderful.
So.
Continue? Would you continue? But you would argue Ragnarok's maybe the best film in the MCU until Infinity War.
I certainly would.
Which is like, hey,
dude, you wouldn't argue that. Iron Man.
Yeah,
better movie.
Hold on. Yes, okay,
I'm checking your ratings here, and 11 is higher than 10.
Maybe I'm going up. Maybe I'm calling Ragnarok an 11 by the end of this. But it's in terms of like what we've been through. We've seen so many different films. Like Iron Man is different because it started the whole thing, and it's a different feel. Now we're 10 years in.
Yeah,
we've seen 20 films, and then boom, Ragnarok comes in and breaks the mold.
I don't disagree with you. It really does, especially given the film series or the character it's specifically dealing with, and the degree to which they handed over creative control. Again, they had done that with James Gunn and Guardians of the Galaxy. I think more successful movies, better movies for me. But with a person in them I dislike much more than Chris Hemsworth, but I do think Star-Lord is a great performance and a good character.
But again, we're talking about turning points. That's Chris Pratt's turning point.
Yes,
as well.
it is. But Taika basically goes, I made this huge movie, this cultural fixation, and then I made a movie about Nazis that's funny, and I won an Oscar for it because there's nothing I can't do.
I played Hitler, and everyone laughed.
Everyone was into it.
It's
and
like, maybe...
I think that's... I haven't seen that movie in 5 years. I remember liking it. I remember being like, I think that's quite good for what it is. I think it's surprising how
a wonderful film.
Much it works. I think ScarJo's amazing in it. I love Scarlett Johansson's performance in that
So
film.
good when she gets to act.
Yes, and doing the scene where she does the father and she puts the smears her face with the coal or whatever. She's great. Anyway, then I remember, and I know this is anecdotal, but I do remember after Jojo Rabbit kind of being like, it's kind of crazy how big Taika Waititi is now. He's just like this household name, essentially, amongst not just film nufties, but people who just like movies.
Yeah.
And I went and saw, of all things, Lightyear with one of my little cousins when it came out in 2022. And he's in that, doing a voice. Mm-hmm. And I remember in real time being like, oh, I'm getting sick of Taika Waititi. Like, this is annoying. This is not funny or cute. This voice that he's just using quite lazily, pretty much just playing Korg, is like pretty obnoxious and grating, and I don't think it adds anything to the movie. Yeah. And then it felt like it all started to come undone. Thor Love and Thunder, a movie I haven't seen because I'm a fucking broken man. I'm going to watch it tomorrow, I guess, because I can't watch 3 out of 4 Thor movies. But I don't know, people don't like it. And then
You're only
again,
3 thoughts of the way.
Say again.
You're only 3 thoughts of the way through.
Quarters, like that.
It's like quarters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was good. I did like that.
We'll get it. It's getting late.
And I can attest again. Next Goal Wins is a fucking atrocity. Like
that's really disappointing.
if films could be brought up on war crimes, like it would have a pretty honest shot to one of the worst films of the 2020s. I think it's worse than Hamnet. Is the best thing I can... Like, I would watch Hamnet again over fucking Next Goal Wins.
Wow. And it is funny because, like, you look at his credits after that, he's done a lot of TV, miniseries, TV,
well, he
videos,
he like
shorts.
co-created Reservation Dogs, right? He's worked with a lot of Maori actors and directors, and he does a lot of things, especially when he films in Australia. He does a lot of Welcome to Country, sort of, before filming. He seems like a guy that has an earnestness to him that I think got transposed into goofiness, and he never quite found his way back to the successful side of it, right? He flipped the coin.
He will.
Well, he's got a new movie coming out, Clara and the Sun. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Jenna Ortega, who, great choices she makes. She's always in the best movies. Come on, Jenna, what are you doing? You gotta try and find a way to be.
Maybe this is the one that.
Maybe this is the one. Death of a Unicorn didn't quite get her over the line. Maybe this one will do it. But I think, Taika is...
Oh, Simon Baker, Natasha Lyonne, Amy Adams.
It's an interesting cast.
And Steve Buscemi. Like, crazy cast.
I mean, it's still Taika. I mean, he's still an Oscar-winning guy who made a very successful movie. But, I just think it's so weird to watch this now in the aftermath and go, we were just all in on Taika.
100%.
It's not an exaggeration to say that the way people felt about Coogler after Black Panther... and then kind of Sinners, even though those were much further apart, it was a similar thing. It's like, what can't this fucking guy do? He made the Black Panther films. He made $1 billion. Second one, whatever, not so good, but it's a bit of a gimme, right? People aren't as mad at that as they are at Thor Love and Thunder. And now he's won an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay for a movie that was a passion project and everyone loved. Ryan Coogler.
But Coogler's not in his own films.
No, that's true. And I could definitely say, as far as Next Goal Wins, really didn't. He's in it for 7 seconds, and it is really unbearable. He's playing the narrator with a lisp. I don't know. That movie is really atrocious. I think Korg's funny. I love, apart from Scourge showing his stuff and doing the shake weight, I really love. I was going to do a revolution, but didn't print enough pamphlets. So all that showed up was my mum and her boyfriend, who I hate. I just think
that was a great Paul McCartney.
Thank you very much. That was a bit of a Paul
That's
McCartney.
A funny scene.
I think that's pretty good. Yeah, MVPs.
Um, you could just shut up because now I have to like put the song in around that.
It'll work.
It won't.
I nailed that. I did the fifth harmony.
Which
I am
one?
the fifth element. Get out.
My MVP for Thor Ragnarok.
I'll say real quick, Carl Urban. I'm not kidding. Was
Really?
always happy even when he's for some of the movie just giving like a troubled glimpse over at Hela and being like, oh, I don't like what she's doing. Like, but when he was at the start, I thought he was very funny. At the end, I loved that Des and Troy came back. I was enthralled by what he was doing. Don't get me wrong. I think a lot of people are giving good performances in this movie. I think Taika directed a good film. But like, yeah, no,
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. Ooh, MVP might be Goldblum.
Goldblum's funny.
Here's the thing: it's like Ruffalo's great, but I don't think it's groundbreaking. But I do like the Hulk a lot, so Ruffalo's a close second. And Hemsworth is good in this. This is the best thing he's ever done.
It's his best Thor that
Yeah.
I think it's true. I'm really not doing this to be fucking. I know. He's really good in Infinity War. Everyone's very good in Infinity War, but he's very good in that. But I do think I love the hair in this. I think just the second
And
he
the
comes out with
haircut.
that look, you're like, wow, it's crazy how well that works. Good choice.
He's hot.
He's very hot. He's very hot.
I thought Thor was hot enough. Seeing Stan Lee come back.
It's like elder abuse. I really, every time he's in one of the movies,
I
I'm
think
just
he's
kind
happy
of like,
about it.
does he know what's going on? Like,
yeah, he's having a fantastic time and probably
Stan
getting
Lee.
paid good money.
yeah, possibly.
Rip.
Yes, Rip Stanley.
All right, well, I think we are well over time. So is anyone going to throw anything in? Is anyone going to...
I will go to a 7.1. I'll go a little up. I'm very passionate about this movie, and as I was talking about it, I was like, I was all in on that first hour, and I never got to a point where I was like, this is bad. I just was like, oh, I'm feeling that feeling I get with it a little deflated as it goes
I mean,
on.
most Marvel movies, the big end fight is often the worst part of these movies. We know that.
Yeah.
The
There's one
establishing first hour and a
exception
bit.
from a little movie
Is it Infinity War?
called Shang-Chi. Whatever the fuck it
I've not seen Shang-Chi.
I haven't either. I don't care.
I think I started watching it on a plane and then we landed. And I was like, oh, shit.
They
I'm out
wouldn't
of
let me
time.
stay and finish it.
Yeah. I started at 10 and I was actually going to come down. Just thinking about it, sometimes the comedy is a bit annoying, but I'm going to stick at a 10 because I loved it when I first saw it and I still really, really enjoyed it. I just think I'm poisoned by the Taika world. But I love him and I hope he comes back and I want to see more from him.
I can't say the same as far as wanting him to come back. I love the stuff that he has done previously. I'll go watch Clara and the Sun. I'll see what's up. But like,
Yeah, 100% I'll go watch it.
Yeah.
It's coming out soon. Anything else you want to say?
no, I think it was good. It was a good
That's your
time.
final pit. All right. Well, thank you for being here, Thomas. It's been a wonderful night.
Can I have my banana now?
I thought you had it in the intro.
No, I only had like a little bit of it. I slammed that bit, so I'm going to have a little bit now. You just do this. I'm going to have my banana.
Well, that was our Thor Ragnarok, but this isn't the credits. This is just meant to be like,
Banana,
we're just chatting.
Banana.
we need Marcus back. We are flailing.
Through in the power.
How's your nana? Thank you for listening to Throw in the Power. My name is Frank.
My name's Tom.
And that was our Thor Ragnarok episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please send us a DM, throw in the pal at Instagram, throw in the pal at gmail.com. Like, subscribe, comment, and tell us why you think Taika Waititi deserves a
Not
good
only
comeback.
tell us what you think, tell us what you thought.
Through in the power.